dog Tyvon Branch decided to join in on us.
My rookie year was kind of like the wake-up call for me. I wasn't no first-round draft pick.
Over the middle, incomplete, and is it
It was a lot of money to me. It might not have been a lot of money, but you taking care of your body, you getting home, you watching more film.
Back at it, man. Appreciate you coming out. My dog Tyvon Branch decided to join in on us.
I'm surprised you let me on. You know what I mean?
Nah, you know. Hey, listen, I'm the worker bee. I'm just trying to be great. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, man, it's your world. I'm just a squirrel. No, but definitely want to get over to talk about the financial literacy. Both of y'all post league at least 5 years or so. We touched on it earlier. 85-90% of athletes going broke after they leave the league. You did touch on the NIL last time we talked. We talked about leveraging your celebrity at this point. But just like learning financial literacy, at what point did this become apparent? That that's something that you all need to do, or you felt like you understood the importance of it? Like, league checks not coming in no more. You're trying to figure out, I guess, most people getting out the league don't even know what they're going to do anymore, right? Like, I'm done playing football. Your whole life, you said, I'm a football player.
Mm-hmm.
When did the light bulb go off?
Want me to answer that one?
Yeah, I'll go right after you.
My rookie year was kind of like the wake-up call for me. The offseason hit, the check stopped coming in, then you got to be like, oh, hold up. I got to manage this bread I got to make sure it lasts the whole offseason into the next season. I wasn't no first-round draft pick or nothing, so I really had to manage my bread.
No shot.
No. Oh, no, it wasn't no shot. No, it wasn't no shot. I'm just saying, like, everybody's circumstances is different, so. I played 10 years, yeah. So, like, you coming out of your rookie season, you got that big check up front, which it was a lot of money to me. Might not have been a lot of money to Buck. It was a lot of money to me. So, I'm like, dang, but I had the right people in my corner, though. Like, I already had me and my agent, we still good friends to this day, and he kind of was telling me, like, listen, this is how it worked. Like, you're going to see these big numbers, but the checks stopped coming in after the season, so you got to make sure you manage it. And then I already had my financial advisor in place that kind of helped navigate me through, all right, we got to budget this money for this. We got to budget this money for that. We'll give you a little bit of money here to play with in the off season, but this is what you have to stay under, in order to make our plan work. And, he put the plan in place for me, and it worked out. So coming into post-retirement, I hit the ground running. I already had things in mind that I wanted to do, and I kind of jumped out there and did it. I think a lot of people too are scared of like getting out there and investing their money because they don't want to lose it. You know what I mean? That's a big thing because you work so hard to save this money, and the checks ain't coming in no more, so you don't want to lose that bread. So, it's a fear factor involved in it too. But I had the right team around me, and I kind of had some things in place. So when I left the league, I kind of hit the ground running and kind of stayed busy and stayed on my toes because, idle time, that's when you start looking at stupid stuff. Oh, what car? Oh, what new cars is out? What new this is that? And you start spending money for no reason because you got so much time on your hands. So kind of fill that void with, staying productive.
No, that's real, bro. Same way. It was so like after my fifth, I want to say after my fourth going into my fifth year. So you do this, financial advisors, they have to meet with you like mandatory every like once a year at least.
Mm-hmm.
So that I had ended up going. So one of these meetings is out of my fourth year. You put up this sheet and like it wasn't a sheet like it was a sheet like pretty much the sheet. It was like you have this much money. If you keep spending your money like this, if you keep spending your money like this, you're gonna be broke by age 75. And then when that happened like that, I'm like, bro, why are you showing me this sheet? And isn't your job to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, isn't your job to be investing my money? You know what I'm saying? So that like really sparked light bulbs in me. Like, why are you even showing me this sheet? Like, I appreciate this sheet because now I gotta change my financial advisor for sure. Like,
yeah.
But
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I need to get rid of you.
Yeah.
Like it's like, I'll start here, but by the time you get here, you know what I'm saying? Like you'll have just, you have $400,000 or something like that. It doesn't matter. But it's like you're not. Why isn't my money going up?
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So, and then that really sparked a lot of light bulbs in me and understood like, oh, I can't rely on this motherfucker. Like, this is not something I can just rely. And it's not his job. Honestly, it's not, and to his defense, it's not his job almost too. It's his job to manage my money. And that's when I understood the differences within people that are helping your financial team. You feel me? An advisor, they're not there to go and, well, great advisors might do that if you got a good relationship with them. But advisors ain't going out there and banging against the wall and finding all these private deals so they can 10x your money. You feel me? Like, no, that's something that you have to do. You feel me? Through your network and your connections. That's something that you got to do through your mindset and hustle. I was like, oh, this is a whole nother game outside the game. You feel me? So that was really, at that point, that's what really kind of sparked it up for me, because you over showing me a sheet and telling me I'm about to be broke at a certain age. That's like goes against everything I'm standing for and everything that I've been hearing about too. And it's like, what about my family? What about my people? And then when I'm asking these questions, you ain't even really giving me anything of essence or substance, or even breaking it down in terms where I can properly understand. You just pointing at different things on this paper. And that kind of what changed it for me. And then also what made me like more of an advocate to the young guys, like, hey, there's definitely that fear, that fear factor, like Cheech was saying, that goes into it, because it's like you don't fully know. But that's what I was saying earlier as well too. Like what my mentor was talking about, there's always gonna be a deal to be put in. Like and all the times, I'm sure same what I say with Ty, like all the different times somebody's coming to you with something like, oh hey, I got this player, I got something like this. There's always gonna be something like that. But for you to be able to analyze a deal, can you do that? Do you know how money works? Can you do that? Have you even learned how to save money? I didn't even know how to save money at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it was oh, checks in. Oh, well, y'all about to go and do this. And then whatever's kind of like was usual happening. Then it's like, okay, well that's just all right. That's cool. I didn't spend that much today. When that's not how it's supposed to be. It's when that check came. Like if I had like the mindset now, every time that check came in, I'm already thinking off top. Oh man, shoot, at least 10% of that's going straight into part of all I earn is mine to keep. Rich Man in Babylon. That's going into a pot where that's going to be for me in the networks that I'm doing, the private investments that I'm able to scout out, and the opportunities that we able to get. That's going to go for that pot for me to exponentially grow that with the net. Then a portion of that's going into real estate, going into stocks. A portion of that's going into real estate. Once I fill those buckets up, okay, now whatever's left from that check, that's what I'm spending my money on. But my first bill is my investment within some of my investments. You feel me? So like that's not something that gets taught. But you definitely learn, and you want to learn sooner than later for sure.
But like I said, I think you guys both did extremely well. And like you said, y'all started off on two different ends of the spectrum, right? Because like I brought up earlier, you said it. It took you 5 years to save your first million.
Mm-hmm.
It took him 5 years to spend his first million.
Yeah.
But that's an equivalent factor. Like it took you that long to save it. It took him that long to spend it. One of them, right? And he coming in first round, you coming in fourth round. So it's like, but even then, both of you guys had enough financial discipline to understand that this shit don't last forever. We got to make it last forever. And you don't go back to me. You don't be like me. You won't go back to the, you won't go back to the hood. I hate the hood, but you won't go back to the hood. Say you want to make sure that you and your family, because I remember I'm telling you, I used to watch Dr. Hawk, and I remember all the things you would tell me. And he was like, listen, you think I don't have no problems? He said, broke people have broke people problems, rich people have rich people problems. He said, I look outside of me. He said, you think that billionaire that own an oil field don't have a problem? Yeah. If his machine go down and he's losing millions by the minute, you think he's not stressed out? You think I have no problems? But it'll be like, I have to worry about my family and making sure that they are okay for the rest of my life. You think that don't stress me? Like the rest of their life, like I understand that I'm in the financial position where my parents, my future children, my brothers, everyone is going to be okay with what I'm giving, what I'm blessed with. I know it's my responsibility to take care of that. So these are things that always resonated with me, and that's why I always, seeing them like, yeah, I've seen you spend money. We've had great times in Vegas. We've done things like I've seen you spend money, but I always knew that you were also frugal. So what you were spending versus what you make is like such a smaller percentage of it. But like you're saying now, imagine where we would be, right, if we had even more discipline. We were thinking about the investments while the bigger checks were coming in instead of, all right, now I got this, still got this check, and let me figure out how to invest it. If you would have spent less on the frivolous shit that don't matter, and like, and that still all comes with sacrifice, right? Like,
It's a little different though. Like when the big checks is coming in, like you focusing on football, so the main thing is the main thing at the time. You know what I'm saying? So, you kind of, it's a slippery slope. Like you don't want to go out there and be trying to hunt down deals and stuff in the middle of playing, because how can you dedicate? Because when you in season, you dedicating, so it's, you practice, you doing film work, you taking care of your body, you getting home, you watching more film, you studying the game, you studying your plays, you studying what y'all got the game plan for that week. So you can't be doing all that and trying to navigate yourself through a deal. You know what I mean? You got $500,000 tied up into this deal. That's not a little bit of money to be, oh, well, all right, if you say that's what it is, that's what it is. Like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? So you got to find people you could trust, but don't trust nobody. Like it's one of those things. Like, you find somebody you could trust, but don't trust nobody, because you know what I mean. Like, there's a lot of people out there smarter than me, and I understand that. So like when I'm meeting these people and I'm navigating through these deals, I'm understanding like this dude might be smarter than me, but I know somebody just as smart as him to look through this deal and help me navigate myself through it. And so you got to find people that, you know what I mean? You don't ever want to be the smartest person in the room. Like, it's cliche, but it's true. Like, you don't want to be that guy that thinks he's the smartest person in the room, because that's how you get duped. So you want to be able to navigate these deals and have people around you. All right, this dude knows what a profit is supposed to look like for this deal. You know what I mean? I'm going to go to him for this real estate deal. You know, if I'm doing this private venture deal, I got this guy over here. He knows how the number's supposed to look for that. So you got to have people in your corner that can help you navigate through those deals. Because like I said, when you're in season, you got that celebrity. So like, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna get deals that some people can't get to. Like the deals that was coming to me when I was in the league, I can't get those same deals today. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta leverage that celebrity, and also keep the main thing the main thing. So like I said, like, have the smart people around you that you could take these deals to. Like, listen, this deal has come to me. Do it look like it's something that I should be getting into? This is your field. I know you know these things. And even if you got to break them off, I got to look over this deal for me. I throw you $1,000 if you look over this deal for me. Whoop-de-whoop. And then work it out like that. But, you know what I mean? You just got to be able to navigate with the right people in your corner is what I'm trying to get at.
So great question for you both. This probably be really beneficial for a lot of people. Worst financial decision that you've ever made? Best financial decision that you've ever made? 4 minutes, bro.
All right.
My actually both. Like, my thing. That answer to that question is the same thing. So I ended up when we did the trucks. When we invested in those trucks, you feel me, like that. It wasn't a bad investment, but it's probably my worst one. But it also was my best investment, because it allowed me to get accustomed to and understanding how business works, understanding how investing, actually building into and investing into an asset, and watching how flow works, how working with people, how am I, you feel me, as far as being able to, actually communicate effectively with another human being that's also in the same alignment of goals, you know what I'm saying? But so in that venture that we took on, you know what I'm saying, as far as buying those two, we took the two 18-wheelers, you know what I'm saying, as far as taking colos nation to nation, you know what I'm saying,
right,
across the nation, you know, state to state, semis, yeah. So that was kind of my first dive into business and investments like that. You know what I'm saying? So for the first one, I'm glad I did it with somebody I can trust, because a lot of people don't do it with people that they can trust. You know what I'm saying? They get messed up, and you're solid through and through. So transparency all the way through as well too. But also, as far as financially, didn't work. But as far as the things that I learned that were worth a lot more, as far as understanding, like I said, about business and intangibles, that were worth more than what I spent. So I got lucky. We got lucky in that standpoint. You know what I'm saying? So now going forward, I'm able to understand, spreadsheet, these are things that I would have did different. We bring in different, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody is, delegating different things. You know what I'm saying? You're in a position where you're able to continue to flourish. I'm in a position where I'm able to continue to flourish and going on from there. So, that was probably one of the ones, yeah, for sure.
I've invested in some startups that didn't work. I would say my worst investments though is some of the investments that I didn't get into. Like, you know what I mean? I done missed on some home runs, you know what I mean? So
I remember you talking about the property that was right here downtown. That lot. What was it going for? What it ended up being worth when they were offering you? Was it $1 million or $500,000?
the property.
It was a lot right here downtown Phoenix, and they were telling you that you should buy it, and then they end up it was just a dirt lot. Now it's like a
Oh
building or
yeah.
something.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I don't know I forgot what the deal ended up being, but it's a lot of stuff like that. Like I done passed on deals and like they worked out. I done jumped in some deals that didn't work out. So it ain't. I don't have one deal that I could be like, oh, that was my worst deal, because like you said, like you learn some stuff from it. So like you know, what I mean, I jumped in the startup game thinking like, all right, this can 10x, 20x or something like that, and it didn't work out. So you got to understand, like some of these deals you go into, like your money could go to zero. Like like it ain't no way around it. Like it could 10x, but it could also go to zero. So
I remember your biggest worry. You was like, I might have to hit the block or something.
oh yeah. Oh nah, that was different though, because at the time most of my stuff was invested in like the stock market and stuff, and everything was just tanking when COVID first hit. And it like to watch your portfolio go from one number to another number that fast is like yeah, like it took it. It's like you got to take a step back and be like, whoa, like you know what I mean. So it's like you know that, but that's another thing. Like diversifying is very important too. Like you can't just have all your eggs in one basket, and that was an eye opener for me. Like I had too much. I was too heavy in the stock market at the time, and I had to diversify a little bit.
Definitely, I'm with that, and I'm with you too on the trucking thing because you know, like even though we put in different amounts of money, you know, me putting in 99% of what I have, you know what I'm saying, and it worked out, you know, to a degree where I was able to kind of sustain for a little while. I had to, you know, make other little side hustles, but you know, unfortunately, I think what happened with us just unfortunate circumstances like war in Ukraine. Diesel prices went up crazy. For some reason, the freights dropped down. I think because the produce wasn't producing.
That's
But
a lesson.
but
Yeah.
the lesson that you know, like, but what I take from it is what I put on my resume, still working in the corporate world, and my experience now with that, right? And doing the learning, like to how to do the, you know, going through federal audits and onboarding and sending insurances and working with brokers, invoicing, all these things that I added to my resume that kind of put me in and even like you said, working with spreadsheets, understanding budgets, and then I go into real estate and I got to work with budgets and I got to recruit, I got to do all these things. It was all kind of a big deal, you know. Yeah, that one's out. I think that one is that one still going in the middle. But I think you know.
Speaking of real estate, I just closed on a deal today.
For real?
Yeah.
Residential?
Yeah, residential, little 6 unit. Yeah, appreciate it.
It sounds like real estate's been the most lucrative deals. I know, you know, you one on one and
It's been the most consistent for me. You know, other than like obviously the stock market and stuff. You know, I had some hits in there too, but
I know that when I thought about business, right, and I tell people all the time just to wrap it up, and I talk to buddies of mine, even buddies of mine that might have made bad mistakes in their life. I'm like, listen, there's 5 markets that you can go into that you can never lose at. If you walked outside,
that's not necessarily true.
Well, I'm saying if you're thinking about a career, right,
Yeah.
and you think about job longevity, right, or even like business longevity. If you walk outside the building and you looked around, you're gonna see residential commercial buildings. So that's real estate. Everything has to have plumbing in all these places, right? So you could be a plumber, right?
Trade.
Have a plumbing business.
You can always have a trade.
Everything has to have HVAC, heating, ventilation, whatever.
All that technology ain't gonna never take away all those trades.
You're not gonna take away those trades. So you got HVAC, you got plumbing, you got real estate. Every business that you see, everything takes transportation or cars going out there, right? So even, you know, if you stayed in trucking or whatever, you want to be a truck driver, as long as you have the proper business plan and set up and connections, but you can't lose with that. And the other one is
death.
Huh?
It's a lot of money in death.
Yeah, that's one of them right there. But like as far as like plumbing, HVAC, electricity. Everything is ran off electricity. So if you jumped in any of those trades, whether you invested in a business or you took that job, I think they all pay well. You know, especially as an employee, as a worker, you can make a good income for your family. And at the end of the day, me jumping in real estate, right? Wanting to get into, I started off getting into, going to real estate just to, to sell houses. Learned about property management, right? You learning about property management, it created a career path for me. Taught me more things while I'm still using things that I learned in real estate school, and it kind of created a career. So I mean, definitely, real estate seems like it's always a benefit, especially if you have the capital to do so. Whether you are part of REITs, whether you are buying a lot of multifamily properties, whether they're smaller or larger units, or you're just deciding to go the commercial route, or if you just want a job. But thank you, brothers, for coming out and spending some time with me and talking about that. I think it's really great for a lot of the young people that's getting out of the league or even coming into the league, if they have the capacity to maybe work in the off season and like think about how they can take their money and promote it and make more money for them, so that the money they are giving to their families, right? Because everyone wants to support their family. You come in the league, you're unselfish, you want to support your family, but you're taking so much maybe away from your own pot to give to everybody else. You got to make sure that you refilling your cup, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely appreciate you guys sharing that with me, and thanks for coming out.
With the just like you're saying, but before all that, I want to get back. But before all that, with the like, start with the foundation. If we are talking about the young, you're talking about the young bulls. If we're talking about the young bulls, start with the foundation, man. I wouldn't even talk about all the invest. You're gonna have opportunities to invest in stuff. The thing is, bro, is the foundation. Understanding how money flows. Can you save do you know how to save your bread? You know what I'm saying?
It start with saving.
Yeah, bro. Like start there. You know what I'm saying? Understand where your money's going. Like actually writing it down. This is where all my money has gone this whole month to month to month. And actually visually see it. That's gonna change the game right there. And then once you actually understand how money flows, interest rates, understand how to leverage your money, what actually are assets, then you jump into the next step. But if you don't got that foundation, you just out there, you ain't got, it's just like you ain't got no technique on the field. You feel me? Like you don't know how to teach that. You don't know how to, you feel me? You don't know how to bust out and hinge, do none of that, bro. You're not gonna be able, you don't know how to gap schemes, gaps is moving. You're not gonna be able to play football at all, So I think that's, just to your point, what I'm saying? Like on top of that is understanding that foundation, bro. So real quick.
Well, definitely, yeah. Save your money. That's save your money. I appreciate y'all coming out.
I appreciate you.